Agathe, what is up? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to be here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. How is the Corona home office lifestyle going?
I'm glad you asked. So it's been, I would say, a little bit experimental at first. We're reaching I think 1 year now. And we've actually been upgrading all of our furniture at home. So it's been very, very cozy the past few months. So I would say quite nice, actually.
Oh, great. You guys are you're all working from home now, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So tell us about yourself. Who are you?
I am a junior front-end developer. I would say I sometimes call myself like a baby developer. Like I started back in February last year at Honeypot as a junior dev. But I've been before a tech recruiter, also at Honeypot. And yeah, that was basically my first, I would say, strong and fulfilling experience since I finished my studies.
Okay. So before you started working as a tech recruiter, were you into software development? Were you into tech somehow?
Not at all. My background is more around international trade, like commerce, this kind of thing. We also did some HR. And I kind of started at Honeypot where I knew I would really learn on the field because I had no clue about tech. And it got so interesting. Like I kind of started to create my own documentation, which became the tech recruiter team documentation. And I think I got really, really interested to the point where I was learning about tech concept, sharing it with my team. And then I got this crazy suggestion, quite honest and kind of crazy question from the former CEO, Emma Tracy. So after all of this work you've been doing for around awareness around tech recruitment, awareness about tech concepts, so for development on a non-technical way, but more to spread the knowledge, would you like to become yourself a developer? And I was like, wow. I haven't thought about that.
Oh, wait a minute. So you were actually hanging out in your office, doing your job, minding your own business, and then your boss came to you and asked, do you want to be a software developer?
Okay, so probably not telling the story properly. So I got to start a project from scratch, which is basically more like a online course that I will create for non-tech people in the company to teach them about, like, in a very I would say easy, not too technical way, what is software development, what are the let's say the different cycles, the technologies. Is this technology like more front-end focused, back-end focused? So it could help both the recruiting part, but also people dealing with other recruiters outside of Honeypot to understand a bit more about that. And so it took me 9 months to do that, because it was like it's like opening a drawer with information with another. So I was like, okay, this is extremely fulfilling, and I tried to make it as complete as possible. And during this project, I synced with Emma, who was also very interested in seeing how this goes, and actually got the original of doing this, what we call Honeypot Academy. And that's when she came with this genuine question. So that's great.
Wow,
yeah.
Amazing. So you were in business school here in Germany, or?
I originally studied in Paris, international trade, like a master in a commerce school, and from there I wanted to have experience abroad, because I had some in Paris, but it was little internships. I really wanted something probably in a startup as well, and I got to know Honeypot, which was in Berlin, and I then discovered it was like a big startup scene as well. So I was like, yeah, let's go for this. I got through the interviews. It went super well, super fast, and they were like, yeah, you want to join us? And I started 6 months as an intern there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You started 6 months as an intern, and then later you got a permanent contract.
Exactly.
All right. Great. And during your time in France, were you looking forward to become a tech recruiter, or was it something someone introduced to you? You read something about tech recruitment and you got interested. And how? And by the way, how did Honeypot came to? How did they approach you? Like they saw something about, maybe you have a blog, maybe you have a, I don't know, podcast, whatever, on the internet, and then, oh, this person gonna fit our tech recruitment requirements, and then reach out to you. How did that work out?
Around the tech recruiting things, to be honest, I don't think I had like the technical awareness, but I think what I liked the most is the company project, like to give the mission of it, to give to all developers a job they would love in Europe, especially in Germany and the Netherlands. And I think I was interested by the unknown. So I remember during my interviews, I was like, okay, I have studied around HR. I did maybe some things related to that, but regarding tech, I have no experience at all, no knowledge. So I also hope on learning from that if I join you. And I think what that's what I really like, because I think they saw my capacity and my potential when I will arrive and then start, rather than me having, I don't know, like 10 years of HR or things like that. So I kind of like that. I learned on the field indeed, and I learned so much, and that's probably what led me to get so interested in tech, because I was able to join a tech startup.
Great. How long did you work as a tech recruiter?
Around 3 to 3 years and a half, yeah.
3 to 3 years, or 3 years and a half, okay. And so when your boss asked you if you want to become a software developer, how was that feeling? Look,
like exactly how you reacted, like what?
If that was me, I would be like, okay, is this like hidden cameras somewhere? It's a joke, April Fool, or what's going on? So
I was like, what? I think I didn't step back that much to realize that it could be a possibility, that I could think about that, because at the time I was a senior talent manager, which is basically like the tech recruitment at a little higher level of experience. And so for me, I was like, okay, after senior, I can go to team lead and this type of thing. So I was like kind of I would say, like, I don't know, there is a French expression to say the head on the bike, like just driving this way, and that's how things go. But I didn't have this stepping back kind of thought. And I think she brought that to me by asking. She was very genuine. I think she didn't realize the impact she had on with this question. And it really stuck. And so every day I was like, yeah, and I think I probably talked with her after, after a day or two, to say, like, this resonated a lot, Smith. What do you think? Like, would it be possible? Like, how would that work? And she said, like, take the time to think about this. If you go toward that, it will be, of course, like 100% development. Because at the time I was like, what if I do some of tech recruitment, some development? She was like, no, you won't do that. I don't think it will be good for you. And wow. She was right. So it was kind of, I was in this kind of situation. And I think, to be honest, it took me 6 months to take a decision.
Wow, 6 months?
Yes.
Okay, that's a long time. How are you able to focus on your work, thinking about, okay, for software development, not so software development?
To be honest, like, I didn't have I knew developers because I was talking to a lot of them, my colleagues, but also friends. But I felt it looked so difficult, so complex, and I was like, is that for me? Like, I'm thinking again about the video you shared and did about the what is your IQ? Can you become a developer if you have a high IQ or whatever? Like, this kind of thing, and I was like, I was in this situation, like, maybe I'm too dumb for that, I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean by that.
Right? So I think I took so long because I was so not insecure but unsure about, is this for me? If I don't like this, what's gonna happen for me, for Honeypot, or just for me as a person? What role will I like to do? I was really, I think, lost, and I think one day I was like, it looks super cliche, but I just went on a weekend with my boyfriend, like, and I was really thinking about that all the time. And we were sitting in a park next to a river. It was sunny, you know? And I was like, Florian, I don't know what to do. Like, should I do that? My boyfriend is also a developer. And he said, you know what? Like, just try. You have nothing to lose. And if you don't like it, well, I don't think you can't go back to what you were doing. And I was like, you're right. And that's just how it went. And I think I just needed that. And yeah, then after that, I went for it.
Great. 6 months. Wow. And so how did you prepare yourself for this new role? I mean, did you self-study? Did you take a boot camp, books? How was it?
I was asked first, like, what kind of education I wanted to do from Honeypot, and I think the best solution that I found was going through a coding bootcamp, because I think self-studying is something I would be really, really bad at, and I've always liked studies in general, so having this kind of structure, something that would be ideally full-time, the support you might need, like both during the boot camp or maybe after. And I think I found it in Le Wagon, especially because it was matching the tech stack that Honeypot was also using. And I went for the boot camp, and I think that was the very first step, and I think the main one as well.
Yeah, when I was into web development, I was also thinking about enrolling the Le Wagon boot camp, but then I decided to become an iOS developer. So that's another story. And so then you did this boot camp. It's like 9 weeks, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, 9 weeks, and you're there every day for 8 hours. Wow, that's a lot.
9 to 5, 6. You arrive on time. It's like going back to school. It's like, well, personally, I really like that, because it was like, in addition to have this motivation of seeing people studying with you, it was giving you a nice framework of like, you're gonna work this way, you're gonna have this type of support, and that was intense, definitely intense. I think everyone doing a bootcamp can say that.
Yeah, boot camps they're really very, very hard. I think before you do a boot camp, you should actually have some basic knowledge. You don't have to, but if it helps. If you don't, it's super fast. Super fast. I enrolled in another bootcamp, iOS bootcamp, and it started pretty slow, but then later it was really fast. And how was your experience at Le Wagon bootcamp?
It was a really good experience, to be honest. What I really liked is that there is this clear. I don't know for you the bootcamp you had, but it's clearly stated almost every day that nobody is in competition. We're all learning at a different pace, because some might actually had some technical background, or none, or some difficulties with this and this concept, but it's actually made it very like kind of a safe environment for learning. And
Right.
the teachers you had, the assistant teachers you had, also did Le Wagon before, so they also understand the struggles you might have. Which
And
was
Honeypot
so
paid
nice.
for this also, or you have to pay?
That's something that Honeypot supported me
Wow.
with, and
Amazing.
I'm really thankful with that, because it is not cheap.
Yeah, I think it's like 4 or 5K something or more, maybe 6K.
This one was
Yeah.
600,
Wow.
6,000, yeah.
Wow, great. And yeah, I mean, your CEO, or is it CEO, CTO?
CEO.
Your CEO. Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing that she did that, made this decision. I mean, I think she made the right decision. Yes, I think you've been doing a great job. And I also listened to your podcast recently.
Thank you. Wow.
Agathe's Diary.
Exactly,
All right, right. We're going to talk about that later. And so you went there to this boot camp for 6 months, and when you were done, how was it? Were you like, I'm ready, let's do this, I want a senior developer contract right now?
The answer is no. I was extremely happy that this was done, because I felt that, like, yeah, this is possible. You can learn how to code. I was a bit sad because I really liked the environment, and I was also still in touch with some students, because it created links that were really connections that were really really great. I also felt a bit scared, because you have like what you study and what you work with as a role, as a profession. So I was like, okay, how is it going to look with real work? Because we worked on projects from scratch. We were 4 people, but how about a code base that is 5 years old with 10 developers? I was a little bit scared, but I got a super warm welcome from the tech team, so I felt a bit better with some time. But it's quite impressive, I would say, to be in this situation from the moment you graduate and from the moment you start your job.
Great. And I think boot camps, I remember the first time I heard about boot camps, felt so surreal. Like, is it possible? I mean, for someone who have absolutely zero idea about software development. I mean, you were as a tech recruiter, you know about Java, JavaScript, or programming language, but you never written a line of code before, right? And now you go into this boot camp, this class. After 9 weeks, you can actually create something, right? And it's amazing. It's amazing that something like this exists.
It's so empowering. Like, I remember having, like, I have a list of all the things I would like to do, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna take some long time. But it's, yeah, I love the creative things you can do with that, and I think the more you learn, the more you will like get into more creative stuff. Like, I'm really excited about that for this industry.
Great. And then you had a mentor who's like a personal mentor, and your let's say a dedicated mentor, honeypot. Or how was it? Or someone just like pushed you into deep waters and like, hey, now get the stuff done.
I had a mentor called Roddy. Roddy, if you heard that, this is for you. I was a senior front-end developer, and actually he had experience with, if I remember well, React and Angular, but he was also starting up with Ember, which is the main framework we use on the front-end side. And he was already an experienced mentor, and so he was super happy to see that he could also help me and help himself learning Ember on a mutual project on the side, and that helped me so much. What we did basically is every week for 2 hours we had so this project we were working on, doing a recap of what we did last week, what we're gonna do, structuring the concept we're gonna go through in pair programming, go through some pair programming, and it would give me some homework for the week, and we would check this out later on. And that helped me so much to learn Ember, and that was amazing for me. That helped me a lot.
And after the boot camp, when you started working as a full-time software developer, what was your greatest fear? For me, for example, my greatest fear would be to disappoint people who put your trust in me, right? People who were waiting forward to see me perform after the boot camp, and then I'm standing in front of a code editor. I don't know what to do. Like,
I feel totally what you're saying. I think that was also part of my fear before I even took a decision to switch to software development. I think I kind of told Emma and the people involved, okay, what do we do if, let's say, I hate it at the bootcamp, or I do very well, or I don't like it when I start as a dev at Honeypot? And they were like, you can go back to TSM, to talent success team, the tech recruitment part. So this also helped me to understand that, that there is a risk, there is a possibility that I don't like it. I can still go back to the team and to this role. And so from there, I was fine with that. But starting,
I think you were more relaxed, right, after that feedback, because if they have told you, okay, if it doesn't work out, you out of the company, Agathe, you out.
You do this,
bye
or goodbye.
Oh, goodbye. Like,
That's exactly. I think yeah, that definitely helped, and I think another part was starting at the role per se in February last year, because this is the real thing. And yeah, you might be told that yeah, of course, if you want to go back, that's no problem, but you still have this thing of you want you don't want to make them proud, but you have this kind of thing like
This drive, yeah.
yeah,
Get
you
it.
want to say yeah, you gave me this chance and I want to honor that because I like it as well. So I was stressed the first months, but I think it was like good stress for me to say, okay, you're gonna learn so much. It might be a bit stressful, but you're gonna get it, and you're gonna be able to learn.
Great, great. And how is it working with Jessica? I mean, how long have you been working with Jessica?
Jessica joined back in July of 2020.
By the way, to those of you who doesn't know Jessica, Jessica was my guest at the podcast, my podcast, and it's actually the German podcast. So I have an English podcast, I have a German podcast, and Jessica, she's a senior web developer, the Honeypot, and she worked together with Agathe. So that's Jessica, incredible software developer. She's amazing.
This for I actually knew her before she joined, because for me she was the Amber Star in Berlin, because she's also part of the, she probably told you in the podcast she made with you, part of the core learning member of Amber. Wow. And yeah, that was for me, I saw her at every event that Amber was doing, and when I heard she joined Honeypot, I was excited, like wow. And she actually really helped us a lot, because we also worked through like the octanization of the code base, so upgrading Ember to the latest version of Ember, which is Ember Octane. And
it's a framework, right?
Yeah. So I'm not sure what the version we had before with Ember, but we had to jump through several ones to get to the latest one, I think, which is Ember Octane 3.19, something like that. And her being like an expert with it, she really helped us with that, and I learned so much from her. So yeah, she's kind of my star as well when we talk about Ember, for sure.
Shout out to Jessica. Woohoo. And so how long have you been a junior software developer, web developer?
Next month it will be exactly a year.
A year. Wow. So at least you've passed your probation period.
You're right.
Now you can break things without getting fired. Okay, so we're almost done. And where can people reach you? And by the way, before we move forward to that, you are also into gaming, right?
I do.
You which game?
Okay, I mainly play Overwatch as my recurring game. I know
Was this before you became a software developer, or okay? I thought software development made you a gamer. Could be.
I mean, the remote time made me like kind of a little streaming person on Twitch, but I've been playing video games for a long time. Not like no professional, like just having fun. And yeah, PC games are my thing. But yeah, playing here and there. And
what's the platform again? Where what was not Twitch? So it's Twitch, right? Again. Okay, cool. And how's that going?
It's doing well. I mean, I'm like not willing to go anytime soon in like pro or whatever status they have, but it's really fun and it builds a nice community. I'm mostly streaming in French. Sorry for that.
Oh, in French. Oh, okay.
But it's really nice to just discuss with people, have a fun time, and I think it's another, I would say, social platform that was extremely well used during COVID. So I really like it for that.
Great. And you are also into podcasting, but audio podcasting, right? On
Yes.
Spotify. And when you just started?
Back in July last year, so it's super fresh.
Okay. My podcast is also super fresh. So how is your experience doing that?
It's so cool because I feel that by discussing with developers that I'm kind of back in my tech recruiting moments where basically I go full curious on, okay, what's your path, what's your background, and what are the cool initiatives you're doing as a developer. And I think it's quite similar to what you're doing, which is quite funny because I'm especially curious about the unique background, because I can ask you, I can ask I also had a podcast with Jessica Jordan.
No,
Yes.
great.
And it's exactly that. She started in biology and then came to software development. I was like, wow. And you could ask every developer you meet, and they will like, yeah, I was in marketing, I was in sales. Some will also have the more traditional background, but they will work on some cool initiatives. And that's what I really like with discussing with people. And I think the podcast is allowing me to really go full mode with, yeah, tell me about this super cool project you're working at. I also talked with someone that founded a group about women in tech, which is in South Africa, with an American director of relations for developers. And I'm like, wow, there is so much to learn. So I think I'm having a lot of fun with that as well.
All right. Apart from your gaming and your podcast, are there other things, other side projects you're involved in working on?
I try a little bit to work on some side projects for some ideas that I would love to develop. I recently, it's very fresh, but started to work on some accessibility projects. I got to know more about the concepts and how things work thanks to some colleagues, and also read a book from Hayden Pickering, which is Inclusive Design Patterns, which explains in a very I would say beginner friendly. For me, it was so easy to read, and it was still technical on how to build something that will be read by most people using only a keyboard, a screen reader, and many other situations. And I loved this. I loved the approach, and I think I started a few weeks ago a project which will be, I think, on the long term, a blog post that will be the most inclusive possible for people reading it. And I'm having a lot of fun.
And if you could start all over again, your career, and you have the ability to look into the future, and you saw that, okay, at some point in your life you're going to become a software developer, would you have started right from scratch as a learning software development, or would you take the same path?
That's a very good question. I think that by being a tech recruiter, it brought me a lot of, I would say, diverse skills that I wouldn't have if I had started a computer science degree. Especially, I feel that I feel more comfortable around communication if there is something. I think junior developers, sometimes they're a bit scared to voice out, like when things are not doing great, or when you're junior during remote times, you're like, oh my god, what do I do? But I was never really afraid to say, okay, I can't do that alone, or I am struggling with that, or I'm not feeling great, like what can we do to improve that? So to be really vocal about things, and also to be not being afraid of asking questions everywhere to anyone, that I gained from my former experience. So I think I would probably have approached the learning part a bit earlier, to have a better understanding, to still have a bit more time to learn all the things, if one day you learn all the things. But I'm quite happy with the path that I took.
Okay. Are you happier with your new career as a software developer?
I am.
You are?
I am. I think after now a year, I'm really happy to, like, it's kind of a weird path. I haven't met yet recruiters who became developers, but that will probably happen. But it brings so much opportunities. It brings you to being in tech. It brings you to many industries, actually, and you will never get bored of that, of learning.
Were there ever a time during your career as a software developer, was there ever a moment where you actually, let's say, felt like you're in the wrong place? Maybe you did you go back?
Okay, let's be totally honest. The first 3 days as a junior dev, I felt, what am I doing here? I was basically setting up my laptop with everything I need for working like with honeypot repositories with very, very nice and patient colleague of mine, but I had no clue what was happening. He was putting some commands here and there, and I was like, what is that? And for 3 days, because we had some issues, so it was solved with thanks to him and all of this, and I was like, I have no clue what this is. So how am I able to code if I don't even know what all of this for? And after that, I talked to my colleagues, like I just said, okay, this happened, like I'm a bit freaked out because I have no clue what this is. And they're like, this is normal. You will do well. Don't freak out. There is a lot to learn, so take it easy. And I was like, okay. It was kind of moment of like, I have no clue what this is. But at the end, it happens sometimes, some days, and this is normal. So learning about, uncertainty and, knowing that you will learn more because you don't know all the things.
Great. And what's your plan for the future as a developer?
That's a good question. I think I'm getting more and more interested in accessibility, so I would love to see if there are either way or approaches to enable companies to ensure the accessibility to their product, to their service, because I think especially with remote time, with people working from home, or maybe will still work from home at one point, you still have users that will need access to some things, sometimes to essential things, but that are online. And I think we can definitely improve on that. There are experts that I follow on Twitter that, of course, will know exactly what to say for that. But I think moving towards that and enabling companies to be more accessible would be quite interested to dig into in the future.
Great. Wow, Agathe, we're done. A very inspiring story, and hopefully someone watching is also inspired by your story, and I'm inspired by your story. At least I can say, okay, if she made it, I can do it too.
That's the point. Awesome.
Oh, great. And where can people reach you? I mean, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify.
True. So you can reach out to me via Twitter. I think it's Agathe.
I'm just going to add it in the video description.
So Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcast. I think we have the podcast on different platforms. What else do I have? Yeah, Twitch, but I mean, it's for gaming. I'm not sure if I will be of great help. But yeah, I think on most platforms, and I will be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great. Thank you for being my guest, Agathe.
Thank you so much, Nathaniel.